This is code.org. That's what we have. The cloud is blocking the view. Oh, it is. There could be a flower under this cloud. Oh no. If there's a flower, the bee will need to collect the nectar once. If there's not a flower, the bee should do nothing. Take a good look at the code below. What do you think will happen when you click run? Keep in mind, as a teacher, if you click on this and hit run, you can no longer change it and your answer is submitted to your teacher. So if I'm your teacher, it's submitted to me. So let's be careful with this. All right. When you click run, repeat 3 times, do move forward. So when I click run, repeat 3 times, do move forward. Okay, so I guess I'll go forward once. I hit the bottom of my pink repeat loop and it says zoop 2 more times, right? So I have to go zoop. Oh yeah, I move forward again. That would be my second time. Hit the bottom of the pink repeat loop, zoop, and do this 1 more time, move forward. Well, now we've moved forward 3 times. So I guess I'm here. 1, 2, 3. Yep. And we're done with our loop. So we fall below it, right? Since we've already fulfilled it. If at flower, do get nectar. This seems like I'm asking the computer a question. So once I'm here, I'm saying, hey computer, am I at the flower? And if I am, would I get the nectar? Let's think about our repeat. So repeat 3 times. Do. When does this do statement run? Notice do. Well, this only runs if I still have to repeat it, right? If I'm not at 3 yet, I do this, right? So as long as I need to get to 3 still, I do this. If at flower, do this. So I wonder then, if I'm at the flower, I will run this code. And if I'm not at the flower, I don't run it. Just like if I'm not at 3, I run this code. But if I'm at 3, because that's how many I need to be at, I don't. So if I'm at the flower, do I get it? All right, let's see. The bee will move to the cloud and try to get the nectar no matter what. Well, I don't know, because this nectar is inside a question, right? Inside a conditional. The bee will move to the cloud and only try to get the nectar if the flower is underneath. That sounds good. The bee will move to the cloud and then do nothing no matter what. No, I'm asking a question. I don't know. Definitely not that. Let me hit run and let's check this out. Ta-da! Awesome. This stuff's important. So if you didn't fully grasp that, go back and watch this again. You really do need to understand this, not just get the right answer. It's going to help you as we go. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we have. More clouds. Uh-oh. Check underneath every cloud to see if it is hiding a flower before you get nectar. If there is a flower underneath the cloud, the bee will need to get nectar once. Okay, so only once. Remember, not all clouds are hiding the same thing. Okay, so I have 1 block on my screen and I can use up to 8. I'm going to just start putting code here. So I think I move forward, right? And then I move forward. And then I need the bee to turn right and forward, I guess, and forward. So again, I know this isn't complete. The great thing about code is you can test stuff and be wrong. So I'm going to test. Let's see where I get to. Okay, so I do get to the end. Interesting. Oh, notice how they're what? Okay, wait a minute. So sometimes there's flowers on both. Sometimes there's only on one. All right, so we can't just put in here always get nectar because it will cause an error. All right. Well, what I can see right off the bat is if I get to the end here, would it matter if I turn right again? I don't think it would, right? So let's see. So obviously we're going to need to check for nectar. Move forward twice, turn right. That's fine. Then I move forward, but then what? Well, I would get nectar if it's there. We're just not sure if it's there. Then what? Well, I would move forward 1 more time and get nectar. Let me see here. But notice, so get nectar, and then I have a bug. There's no nectar here. How could we prevent this? What if we do an if, right? And so that way I ask the computer this question. If there is nectar, then I can do this. If nectar, if at a flower, get nectar. Let's try. Oh, and now I'm not going to make it far enough. Interesting. Well, wait a minute. What if I do, run? Well, that first one works. Okay, so keep in mind how this works. If at a flower, I am asking the computer a question, And a computer can respond true or false. 0 for false or 1 for true binary, but regardless, 0 or false. And what I ask the computer when I get here, when the code gets here, it says, if at flower, and the computer says true. Yep, you're at a flower. And what happens then, I do get the nectar. Now, if I had something under this, I would then go forward. Let's say there's no flower. Let's test. So this is perfect, no flower now. So turn right, move forward. Now I'm gonna do the if. I'm asking the computer, hey, is there a flower here? And the computer says false, not true. Since this is not true, I just go beneath it. This line that says do get nectar never happens if at flower. This only happens if I'm at the flower. So if at flower is false, I don't get the nectar, but I will move forward one. Perfect. And if there was a flower there, I would get the nectar, then move forward. Now my problem is there might be more nectar here, right? So jit and jit. So that would get the last one. Now I'm over on blocks, but wait a minute. Move forward, get nectar. Move forward if at flower, get nectar. Move forward if at flower, get nectar. Don't repeat yourself in code. Be lazy. I can use a repeat block. And that way, everything in here will automatically happen twice. Boom. I want to show you one more time. Reset, step. So move forward, turn right. Now it says, okay, I got to do this 2 times. I move forward. It checks. If I'm at a flower, true, so I do get the nectar. I hit the bottom of my repeat, so I get to move forward one more time because I'm repeating this one more time. And then I'm going to check if at a flower. False, I don't get the nectar. Awesome. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. You can only collect nectar from flowers, but you can check any space, okay? To see if there's a flower. Yep, that makes sense. If there is a flower under any of these clouds, the bee will need to get the nectar once. So this is similar to what we're just doing. I have 1 block here, and I can only use 5. I'm going to start like I always do, putting code down. Move forward. I don't know if there's a flower here, though. So if I just say, okay, move forward, get nectar, move forward, get nectar. This, let's see. Well, it will work this time because there's flowers, but I bet... Let's see this time. Now, this first one, I can move forward, I can get nectar, I can move forward, and now I have an error. There's nothing here. I can't get the nectar. So this doesn't work. We need to ask a question. We need to check first if there's a flower, because we can only get nectar if we're at a flower. So let me go ahead and do this. If at flower, get nectar. Boom. And let's do that for all of them, right? We need to check if I'm at a flower before I try to grab the nectar. Otherwise, we'll have errors. Let's move forward each time, just like we did before. Move forward, get nectar, move forward, get nectar. The difference here is my conditional. I'm checking if I'm at a flower. Let's see. So first thing, yep, move forward. Oh, there's no nectar this time. Let's try it because I want to show you. Yep, move forward, and I'm going to ask the computer this question, if at flower. The computer says false. I'm not currently at a flower. If this is false, I never do get nectar. If at flower, nope, I'm not at a flower. And it just runs the code beneath. Do never happens. So I'll move forward. Now I'm going to ask that question again. If at a flower. Am I at a flower? True. This is true. So if at flower, do this. What do? I get the nectar because I'm at the flower. Now what? Move forward again. Now I'm going to ask the computer again. If at flower, get nectar. Well, I'm not at a flower, but I'm also at the end of my code. So wait, let's keep going on this. What would I want to do next? Well, I'd want to move forward and I want to get nectar if there's a flower. And then what? Well, I'm going to need to move forward again and I'm going to need to get nectar. And I know this is way too much code, but let's see how it goes. And each time I don't cause an error because I'm only getting that nectar if there's a flower. However, we're way over on blocks. So hopefully you notice I am repeating myself and repeating myself and repeating myself. You don't need to do this in code. I actually had to say it 2 more times too. So I have 5 here, plus 2 more times is 7. So instead of doing all this work, goodbye, I'm just going to ask the code to run this 7 times in a repeat loop. And any code in here in this pink mouth thing now must run 7 times before it would drop below and run something else. We wouldn't need to run anything else, but let's give that a try. Victory! Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. In this puzzle, we know that every flower has exactly one nectar. Oh yeah, no clouds, cool. But the flowers aren't spaced evenly, that's true. Get all the nectar using as few blocks as possible. Okay, so we have one block in our workspace, and we can only use up to 5, yikes. And that's a lot of steps forward. Let me see here. How many? Rah. It's easier to count this way for me. You can always test and be wrong with code, by the way. Okay, so it's 7 steps. So I can tell right away, if I put down 7 blocks, I'm already over, and I haven't even checked for nectar. They expect me to use 1 get nectar. That's scary. I'm not going to listen at first, because let's test something. And this isn't going to work, and I'll show you why. Step. Get the nectar. Cool. Move forward. There's no nectar. So I can't just apply this every time. Well, what if I just do it like this? Move forward, right? I can see where the flowers are. Get nectar. And look, I'm already over. So this isn't really going to work either. Move forward 3 times, get the nectar. Move forward twice, get nectar. But let's see what it does. Yep. Now my problem with this, though, is there's not a real pattern. So repeat blocks are great because we don't need to repeat code. We can use the patterns. But wait a minute. So I move forward once and I get nectar. I move forward 3 times and I get nectar. I move forward 2 times and I get nectar. There's nothing here to repeat right now, right? However, what if I check if there's nectar first? So let's see here. Instead of doing just get the nectar, what if I say, if there's a flower, I can get the nectar? Okay, so I'll move forward, and if there's a flower, I'll get the nectar. And then I want to move forward, and if there's a flower, I'll get the nectar. Because this way, I will never get nectar if there's not a flower, because I'm checking, and only if there's a flower will I get the nectar. And doing it like this, you might think, wait a minute, what? Why? Because I can see I don't have nectar here, here, and this is a ton of extra code. Well, let me show you. Let's talk about get nectar and move forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and reset, and I'm going to hit step. Move forward. Now, what happens? I'm asking the computer a question, if at a flower. This is either true or false. Well, I am at a flower. This is true. And so then I must do get nectar. Awesome. Now I'm going to move forward again, and I'm going to check, hey, are you at a flower? If at flower, my bee says, nope, false, right? The bee is not currently at a flower. So then I skip this. I do not get nectar. If at flower, not at flower, I just drop below my if statement and move forward again. Now I'm going to check if I'm at a flower. Well, once again, false. I'm not at a flower. This is false. I do not run that do. I just move forward again. And now I'm going to check if I'm at a flower. This is true, right? My bee is at a flower. True. So if at flower I am, I do get the nectar. Once I get the nectar, what happens? Well, I drop below and I move forward again. Now, why have all this extra code? I have 17 blocks. Because if I do it like this, notice, you can repeat yourself. And I would have kept going, right? I would have had another if. How many times do I need to go forward? I said 7. So now, since I'm just repeating myself, and I would do it 7 times, and I can get rid of this extra stuff. So that conditional, that if statement that I'm asking, that question, allows us to repeat code and reuse it. It simplifies code, and we get to ask the computer that question. Let's see. Awesome. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Collect all of the nectar using as few blocks as possible. Workspace, I have 1 block, yep, and I can use up to 10. That is a lot. And remember, what we've been learning about are if statements. Like I often do, I'm going to start throwing down blocks just to get a feel. So I'm going to move forward, I guess, and maybe get some nectar. Move forward 2, I think, and get nectar. Oh my goodness, this is getting complex. Move forward one and get nectar. Move forward one more and get nectar. Then turn left. Then move forward. And move forward and turn left. I'm probably wrong. Best part about code, you get to be wrong. Let's see. Yep, okay. Am I gonna... Oh, there was no nectar there. Okay, fine. Be picky. Reset. Yep. Oh, I ran him into a wall. That's your fault, other person on the side of the computer, because I don't want to take responsibility for hurting the bee. Let's see this. Alright, so now we're getting there. And now, yep, I would turn left and I would move forward. So the first thing we want to do is look for a pattern, because obviously we have way too many blocks. However, I'm not seeing a great one, so I move forward once, I get nectar, I move forward twice. Well, that's something, I guess. But then I get nectar, I move forward once, I get nectar, I turn left, I move forward, I turn left. There's no real pattern there. Well, that's tricky. So, what could I do? Well, we know we have been using this if, so right away I'm suspicious of that. Let me go ahead and replace my blocks and just check if there's a flower each time. Remember, because this allows us to only get the nectar if there's a flower. So let me reset here and watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and say step, and I move forward. Then I hit this, and I'm asking the computer question. If you're at a flower, am I at a flower? The computer's going to say true, because I am. If this is correct, yep, I'm at a flower. I do get the nectar. So, boom, get nectar. I grabbed it. Now, if I had code beneath this, I would then move forward. So I check if I'm at a flower, get the nectar, move forward. Now, if I'm not at a flower, it doesn't matter. It won't give me an error, because get nectar will only run if I'm at a flower, right? Normally this would give me an error, because I'm going to attempt to get nectar right here, and there's no flower. Broken. All right? But if I say, nope, only if you're at a flower, get the nectar. So now what's going to happen, let me step through here, move, if at a flower, get nectar, move. Now I'm going to ask the computer here, hey, are you at a flower? The computer says false. Nope. Okay, well, then I just skip the do. I don't get nectar. If at a flower, not at a flower, okay, I'm just going to drop below and move forward. All right, now what if I were to keep going? If at a flower, get nectar, move forward, right? I'm just going to check each time, kind of protect myself. If I'm at a flower, get nectar, move forward. And if I am at a flower, if this is true, I do get the nectar, and then I run the next line, which would be move forward. If I'm not at a flower and this is false, I don't run the do, so no harm done, and I just move forward. All right, let's see where this gets us so far. Oh, okay, well that gets us almost there. And keep in mind, I'm way over on blocks, and that's fine. We're testing stuff. If at a flower, get nectar, move forward. If at a flower, get nectar. Oh, can I move forward though? No, I think I'm going to want to turn left there and then move forward. And then if at a flower, because I'm just going to check every time. Let's see what that does. Cool, so that now I'm successfully moved. Let's look for repeat code. Well, obviously move forward, get nectar, move forward, get nectar, right? This if statement allows us to keep repeating ourselves, because it's fine if I check every time if there's a flower, because it won't cause an error now, right? I'm only going to get nectar if we're at a flower. So, okay, I guess I can do this 6 times rather than having it 6 times. Let's see where this gets us. So if I'm at a flower, grab my nectar. If not, I'll do that. Okay, so that gets us all the way down this side. Now what should I do? Well, I think I would need to move forward, check if I'm at a flower, and then what? Move forward. If I'm at a flower, get nectar, but I'm not. So I know I'm not going to be at flowers here. Interesting. Why don't we then just move forward and turn left? Now, this is a square. So if this works for this side of the square, well, or it's a rectangle, then it would work for the other side, right? It's going to work. We're going to move forward just like we did there. So what could we do to make that happen? Well, first, let's double check we got this right. Yep, that's perfect. So now we need that other side. So repeat 6 times. I know it's 6. I'm going to move forward. I hope you're yelling at me because what I'm doing is wrong. If at flower, get nectar, then I'm going to need to turn left way up here because I bet I want to make it all the way around. And then I'm going to move forward, wait a minute. Boom. Since a rectangle has 4 sides, these 2 sides are the same as the 2 sides. I don't need to rewrite all this. Get rid of that. Boom. Boom. I can do this. 2, right? Because I want to repeat this whole big chunk twice. Let's give that a shot. Awesome. Onward! This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Now, I just want to make honey. Okay. Some of these clouds might have honeycomb underneath them. Ooh, be sure to check if honeycomb is hiding beneath each cloud. If there is honeycomb, the bee will only need to make honey once. Okay, so I have 1 block down here we can see, and I can only use 7. Like I always do, I'm going to start throwing some blocks here to test stuff. All right, move forward, turn left. Let's just get me to the end of this path first. Boom. Okay, so that's 5, but it should... Oh, look, 1 honeycomb. Okay, let me just double check that. Oh, you see what they do? They'll change it up on us. Tricky. So we're going to have to check before we get the honeycomb, because sometimes there's not going to be honeycomb there. Okay, so I'm going to move forward once. Boom. Move forward twice. Boom. Now what? Well, now, I bet I want to check if there's honeycomb. Because if I just say make or honey, yep, it's going to be an issue now because there's no honey there. Problem, I can only make honey if there's honeycomb. But sometimes there is. So now I'll make honey and that works fine. So that means we have to use what we have been, if. So now, boop, boop, boop. What am I doing? Well, I'm saying, okay, bee, if there's honeycomb. That way we won't have an error. So move forward, yep. Move forward, yep. Turn left, check. If there's honeycomb, now I'm asking the computer a question. If there is honeycomb, the computer says true, and I do make the honey. If there's not honeycomb, the computer says false, and I just drop to the code beneath it. So again, if there's honeycomb, yep, if honeycomb, make the honey. If not honeycomb, I don't do the do, I just drop below. If honeycomb, I do make honey, then I move forward. Otherwise, I check if there's honeycomb and it's no, I just do the move forward. That being said, well, now I'm going to need to move forward twice, and if honeycomb again, right, because sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, I'm going to make honey. Even before I run this, I hope you're yelling at me, because wait. Boom. These are super similar, right? And I could even do it like this if I wanted. I don't have to turn left first. I could turn left after I get my honey. Boom, boom, exact copies here. So, what I'm going to do is a repeat block. Keep in mind, too, I could turn left here at the end. It doesn't matter if I turn left after I make my honeycomb. That doesn't affect us. So instead of repeating myself twice, I'm just going to have a repeat 2. And now all of this code, everything in this pink mouth thing, has to go through twice. Let's try. No honeycomb, honeycomb, get the honey. Ta-da! Awesome. We did it. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Sometimes a cloud covers a flower. Sometimes it covers honeycomb. Ooh, they're tricking us. Use the if-else block to collect nectar at the flowers and make honey at the honeycomb. Okay? Remember, if there is a flower, the bee only needs to get nectar once. If there's a honeycomb, the bee only needs to make honey once. Okay, so if-else is super important, and it's real programming stuff. Like always, I'm just going to start by throwing stuff down. We can use up to 6 blocks. Right now I have 2 on my screen. So it looks like there's, it's a tiny area. Let me just see what happens here. Okay, well, what if... Okay, so that time it was honeycomb. Oh, I see what they mean. You see how it changes? All right. So what could I do? I could move forward and I could get nectar. Let's try this. This is wrong. Because watch. Uh-oh. You're stuck. You can only get nectar from a flower, and there's honeycomb. Oh, okay, well then let me make honey. See, I got them both, so now I should be good. Uh-oh. I need to check first. So, right? If there's a flower, what would I do? Butch, blop. If there's a flower, I would what? Well, I'd want to get nectar. If there's not, right? So if flower, get nectar. Otherwise, at all other points, and since this is the end, I know it's a flower or nectar. It has to be one or the other, or honey. So if I'm at a flower, get the nectar. This will run as long as this is true. So I'm asking the computer, hey, is the bee at a flower? And the computer can say, true, you're at a flower. Do get nectar. And then it would keep going. Let's pretend I needed to turn right down here. Then I return right. I would never do this else. Else only happens if this is false. So right now I'd move forward twice if, and let's see. So boom, boom. Now I'm asking the computer question. If I'm at a flower, I'm not, right? I'm at honeycomb. So if I'm at a flower, the computer says false. You're not at a flower. Well, then what has to happen is else. So if I'm at a flower, no, you're not. Oh, well, otherwise make the honey. Okay, cool. And then once I'm done, I do this right turn thing, which I added there, we don't need, but it runs the code beneath once done. Now let's see in another. See, now there's a flower. Move forward, move forward. If I'm at a flower, this time that's true. So watch, I'll run get nectar, and that's it. Pretty cool. These are super powerful commands we're learning. Let's keep going. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Look carefully at the code below. What do you think will happen when you click run? Remember, there will only ever be one honeycomb and one flower. So keep in mind, once you select one of these and hit run, your answer is submitted to your teacher. If I'm your teacher, it's submitted to me. So let's think about this carefully before picking. All right, so when I click run, I'm going to repeat everything in this pink mouth thing 3 times. All right, fair enough. I'll move forward, plop, and then what? Zoop. I'm going to ask the computer this question. If at flower. So if right here I am at a flower, then I do get the nectar. So if this is true, if I'm sitting at a flower, the computer will say true. Yep, if at flower, true, well then I do get the nectar. Once I get the nectar, I'm done. I don't do else, right? I can only ever either get nectar or make honey. I will either get the nectar or make the honey. I can never ever do both of these lines. So I'm at the flower, I do get the nectar. I hit the bottom of my repeat, zoop, back to the top, move forward, and let's pretend I'm here now, and if I'm at a flower, we'll say, nope, that's honeycomb. So this is now false. If you're at a flower, false. Well, what happens? Well, I don't get the nectar because it's false. Nope, not at a flower. But I do then, else. So if at a flower, nope. Okay, well then otherwise, else, make honey. And so that's what I would do. I hit the bottom, back to the top, move forward a 3rd time. If I'm at a flower, we'll say it's true again. So then I would get the nectar. I skip the else, hit the bottom of my pink loop. I've done it 3 times, and I'm done. So let's see. That seems like I'd be able to get it all. The bee will get nectar at each flower and make honey at each honeycomb. Maybe that. The bee will try to get nectar for both flower and a honeycomb. Nope, it looks like only if flower get nectar. Okay, the bee will try to make honey for both flowers and honeycomb. That doesn't look right either. So let me hit run and see. Awesome. Now, if that doesn't make sense, you need to go back and watch this again. If you're just clicking the answer and hit and go, it's going to hurt you later on. Make sure you understand this. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Challenge puzzles are awesome. Our lessons designed to stretch your brain. Just do the best you can. I'm 100% ready. So are you. There will be either a flower or a honeycomb under each of those clouds. Okay, but which? Collect nectar once if there is a flower. Otherwise, make honey once because there is a honeycomb. Okay, so it's going to be one or the other always. Well, I'm going to do what I always do and start throwing blocks down. Blump. And I have 2 blocks here. I can only use 8 though. I think I'd hit a wall here, right? So I'll go ahead and say turn. That would be the bees right, I think. And then right, I think. and then zoop. Okay, let's see what this does. Yep. So it's a square, so I'm already noticing a pattern emerge here. And then turn right, and boom. Well, look. So you don't need to repeat yourself with code, right? So instead of writing that out 3 times to get to each of these points, zoop and zoop. 3. Perfect. So now I can still get all the way around because it will run through all of this code 3 times, and then if I had something below it, it would run that. Okay, but I've already used 6 out of 8 blocks. Now, I'm on a cloud right here that I'll need to get, so let's, I don't know, throw get Nectar. Uh-oh, I already hit an error. Up. Boom. That almost worked because there are flowers all the way around here. But, there's honeycomb here. So we have to ask a question to be able to work. And what will that question be? Well, if, right? We can go ahead now and check. If we are at a flower, what do we want to do? Get nectar. If not, so we'll either be at a flower or we'll be on honeycomb. So we need to do one or the other. Let's test this. I'm still over, but we'll take a look. Step. First thing that happens, it says, okay, repeat this 3 times. And I'm asking the computer, hey, is the bee at a flower? The computer can say true or false. If this is true, then do get the nectar. It skips the else because we're at a flower, and then next up would be move forward. If this is false, if at a flower, nope, you're not. Otherwise, make honey. So only do get nectar or else make honey can run. Only one or the other. They can never both run at the same time. If at a flower, you get the nectar, you go to this line. If not at a flower, you make honey, you go to this line. So let's see, we're at a flower, so we get the nectar, and now watch. We'll go down here, we don't do the honey. Yep, boom, boom, boom. Turn right, hit my loop. We got to do this 3 times, hit this again. If I'm at a flower, I'm asking the question. I'm not, so this is false. So then I must make honey. And notice I skipped get nectar because I'm not at a flower. Move forward, move forward, move forward. Turn right, repeat again. If I'm at a flower, I'm not, so I can't get nectar. I must get honey then, which is perfect. That's what I need to do. And don't leave nectar behind. Oh, I have too many blocks though as well. Got it. Look, I'm repeating myself here. Zoop, and repeat twice. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Let's try this. Oh, 3 times. Almost had a bee injury. And now it loops this 3 times instead of me saying it 3 times. Oh, I need to do this 4 times, so I make sure to get the last one. Gosh, this one's tricky. There we go. Gotta pay attention to how many times we are looping. But, we did it. Onward. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Collect all the nectar or make all the honey. You can only collect nectar from flowers and make honey from honeycombs. Check any space to see if there's a flower or a honeycomb. There will only ever be a flower or 1 honeycomb behind each cloud. I have 1 block here. I can use up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. If I'm moving forward 7 times, I can already know to use 6 blocks, I must be using a repeat. I'm going to throw down, though, some move forwards. Here, I already know I'm using a repeat, so I'm going to put a 7 there, I guess. Move forward. It's always nice to test stuff in code, and you can be wrong. So let's give that a shot, just to see what this looks like. Okay, so lots of flowers, 1 honeycomb. Lots of flowers, 1 honeycomb. Lots of honeycomb. Oh, it randomizes it. That's a pain. Do I die? No, I don't hit the wall, though, so that's good. Okay, so we have the right amount of movement. Now we need to figure out a way to get all of that stuff. Now you might be tempted, right? Well, let me look. Oh, honeycomb. Okay, so I'll do this first one, make honey. Reset, run. Problem, it's now a flower. Okay, well then fine, do get nectar. Problem, it randomizes it. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is use a conditional, use an if statement. We need to ask the computer a question. So if at a flower, what would we want to do? Well, if I'm at a flower, I want to get the nectar. Else, so if at flower, get nectar. Otherwise, else, make honey, right? So one or the other will happen. If this is true, if I'm at a flower, I will get nectar and I would never make honey. You can never do both of these things in the same time. So I'll ask the question, hey computer, am I at a flower? I am, I believe. Yep. So this is true and I do get the nectar. Now I skip else because I got the nectar. I hit the bottom of this pink mouth repeat thing, go back to the top and move forward. I then ask the computer question, hey, am I at a flower? Again, yep, true. So if you're at a flower, do get the nectar. And that's it. Hit the bottom, move forward. Now, hey, am I at a flower? The computer this time, I'm at honeycomb, would say false. Nope, definitely not. You're not at a flower. Well then, okay, if you're at a flower, otherwise, I'm not at the flower, so otherwise or else make honey. So watch, I won't do get nectar, I'm not at the flower, but what happens next? I make honey. Let's see what we got here. Awesome. If statements are super important to programming. We're learning great stuff. Let's keep it up. This is code.org. Let's see what we're doing. Conditionals can be conditionals and if. Don't let that word scare you. If. That's all they mean. A condition. If this happens, else, that's condition. Can be helpful. Even when you know what exactly is in each spot. Collect all of the nectar and make all the honey. Yeah, so it's going to be helpful here because they only want us to use 6 blocks. So even being able to see it, I'm just going to throw down code and be wrong, or use too much, but watch. So make honey, sure. Make get nectar because it's a flower. That 3rd spot, I want to make honey. The 4th spot is nectar because it's a flower. Notice it's grumpy. I used too many of these. Next up is, I think, another get nectar. Just kind of guessing here. I'm probably wrong. Let's do this. Boom. Now I'm used way too many blocks. So this works, but I've used way too many blocks. And if I were to keep going, I would need this again. Now, repeats are great for patterns. So let's look for one. Move forward, make honey. Okay. Move forward, get nectar. Okay. Move forward, make honey. Move forward, get nectar. Move forward, get nectar. Move forward, make honey. And then move forward, make honey. Well, wait a minute though. Does this randomize? Nope, we know. So why would I say this 3 times? You wouldn't. Don't repeat yourself in the codes. Kill, kill, grab. And now I can put a 3 here. Pacha. Pacha. Okay? And then after that runs, that very last make honey, I could put it here. But I still have too much code. Oh. Just kidding. Twice. And then I need to not make honey, right? Because I have a flower. So now I'm going to need to get nectar. I would move forward again and get nectar. I would move forward again and get honey. Now, there's not much of a pattern here. So that's a huge problem. What we can do though is what do I have to do every single time? I know I'm going to have to move forward, right? And like I said, I could just throw that into a repeat and say 7. But I need to know if I have to get honey or nectar. Well, what if I use an if else instead of all of that junk? If I'm at a flower, just like we've done for all of these, and notice I'm only going to use each of these once. So if I'm at a flower, I'll get nectar. Else, I'll make honey. And as long as this is true, if I am at a flower, I do get the nectar. I would never make the honey. Only one of these can run. So let me show you. Step, yep, move forward. I'm going to do this 7 times. Okay, now I check. Hey bee, are you at a flower? This is false, right? I'm at honeycomb. So this is false. You're not at a flower. So it won't run get nectar. I can't. I'm not at a flower. But then I have to run make honey. Boom. Make honey runs. Hit the bottom. Back to the top. Another time. Move forward. Now I got to check if I'm at a flower. This is true, right? I am at a flower, so this is true. So you're at a flower, do get nectar, hits the bottom, goes back to the top, and moves forward. I don't run the else because I got nectar. Now, move forward. If I'm at a flower, true, so, or false, I'm at honeycomb. Since this is false, I don't run get nectar. I do then run honeycomb, or make honey, hit the bottom, back to the top. Let's see. These conditional statements, also known if statements, are super powerful. I'm really excited to see what we'll get to build with them. Onward.